Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's July 31st, and this is the weekly Backdrop meetup, where we just talk about Backdrop and give a status update on how the project is going and where we are on things and answer any questions that anybody might have out there. So we've got a weekly agenda that we always post before the call that is on Twitter, and we're going to go through the agenda and just see where we are on each of the major initiatives within the Backdrop project. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Backdrop, Backdrop is a fork of Drupal 8. We're trying to provide Drupal 8 comparable features with a Drupal 7-like architecture. That includes incorporating all of the bug fixes from Drupal 7 and Drupal 8 where we can, simplification of existing systems, and adding new features to make it so that we can modernize Drupal 7 a little bit with things like the CMI initiative and views. So we're pushing forward on all fronts, and things are looking really pretty good. We expect that we'll be having our release around fall 2014. So in the next couple of months, we're hoping to get this the initial release of Backdrop 1.0 out. And then we're going to have regular iterations on our releases, sort of similar to like Drupal 8. They recently adopted semantic versioning as well. And we're going to be rolling out releases every 3 to 4 months or so with minor updates. So on to our progress reports. We've got 3 major initiatives that we need to finish before we would make a 1.0 release. The first of these is blocks and layouts. There's a GitHub issue that summarizes where we are with blocks and layouts. It's issue 86 under github.com/backdrop/backdrop issues. And so the blocks and layout system is actually coming along really pretty nicely. This past week, Jen was going through and porting a bunch more of the panels integrations into blocks and layouts, things like content type selection and bundle selection, taxonomy term selection, and those sorts of things. So I think that she has made progress on that front to get some of those more conditions and access rules all set up. The biggest piece that's missing in the blocks and layout system is primarily we still have the old region-based system right now. So when you install a layout module, it just layers on top of the existing region system, and that's not what we want. So I think it's actually like architecturally like a pretty simple thing to implement, but will have pretty far-reaching consequences. So that's probably our biggest item in blocks and layouts land that needs to be done. Views and core is our next major initiative. It's looking really good. We've had views for like 9 months now, quite a long time. We still have major listings that need to be converted. That's issue 151 in the GitHub issue queue. And things like the administrative listings, the list of users, and the list of nodes still needs converting. And I think both of those issues are up for grabs. So we had John Van Dyke do some work at DrupalCorn on them. But I think he mostly was focusing on the action system rather than getting these views converted. I think I'll try to reach out to him this week and see if he has time to work more on that, or it may have also just been something that he was doing during the camp, which was awesome for him to help. But we'll see if... Oh, thanks, Michael. Michael says he's out this week. So I guess he probably won't be doing it this week. But that's all right. He did a bunch of work during the camp, and he left us in a good place where we can pick up. So those issues are probably up for grabs for anyone interested in doing some conversion to views. So lastly, of the 3 major initiatives we're trying to hit out for the 1.0 release, the last one is configuration management. We have the major meta issue is issue 169 in the Backdrop issue queue. And we've had the base system in place for a long, long time now. And some major systems like views and image styles and contacts module are all really fully converted. And Paul, hello, Mr. Cat here in the issue queue and on the Hangout, has been doing tons of work on converting all of the variables, all of the configuration forms, and we're probably like 3/4 of the way through converting variables at this point. There's very few of them left, especially for things like configuration forms, like settings forms for various modules. Almost all of those are converted. So now the items that are really left are like the big major ones, things like fields, content types, menus, those sorts of things that are kind of major subsystems that still need to be converted. So I'm feeling really good about where we are overall. Just we need to probably shift our attention to work on those major systems that haven't yet been converted. Even though there's only a couple of them, they're really central to the functionality of Backdrop. So let's see. I know Paul also has a great pull request that's on my plate to review. I'll probably get to it tonight or tomorrow, reviewing the locale settings, locale and language settings. After Paul? Oh, hi, Jen. Looks like Jen has joined us from the horse show. Jen, we're currently just going through the agenda. We just finished up the major initiatives. So now we're moving on to our Keeping Up with Drupal segment. Do you want me to keep going through the agenda? Okay, I'm guessing that's a yes. Okay, I'll just keep on rolling. Okay, so when Backdrop 1.0 is released, we want to make sure that that we aren't behind in any areas, like in things that Drupal 7 has done or in things that Drupal 8 has done in terms of modernizing things like its front end or security holes or various bug fixes. And so we're making sure that we keep a steady stream of cross-ports from Drupal 7 and backports from Drupal 8 where applicable. These days, most Drupal 8 work is converting more stuff, converting A to B, A to B, A to B, and we're pretty much avoiding almost all of those major conversions, except for the ones that I already listed. So we've got a number of issues for maintaining cross-ports. We went through like 600 some issues for Drupal 6, and all of those 3 meta issues are now complete. But we've got 2 issues for tracking basically changes from like 7.24 onwards, issue 222 and 262. And each one of those spans about 3 versions of Drupal, minor versions of Drupal 7 that we have to do a little bit more work on catching up there. It looks like there's about 30 more patches out of 110 that we haven't converted yet. So anybody looking for some nice easy ones to pick up, Drupal 7 cross-ports are always a piece of cake usually to move over and really great for people to pick up and just jump into the project. We also got a number of Drupal 8 backports. There's so many Drupal 8 issues that we're, for the most part, taking these a la carte, but we've got a couple of sub-issues for HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript, just backporting a lot of the major front-end changes. And each of those issues is also in the agenda doc, which should be shared with this video. Let's see. We've got a number of minor projects that we're trying to complete as well. One of them is we're separating the identity of Backdrop from Drupal, and we've already got our logo, which we have a whole bunch of stickers around here. And here are stickers. It's pretty exciting. So we've got stickers printed, so I guess it's real because it's physical now. But we've got a whole bunch more stickers getting printed, and we'll be at Drupal Camp Minneapolis distributing them in Twin Cities Drupal Camp for anybody interested in picking them up. But we're working on doing a lot more than that throughout the entire project. There's a pull request right now that Jen has been working on to rebrand the installer, which also was sort of a continuation of the work that came out of Drupal Corn. Oh yeah, Anna did some design work on the installer, which we're now implementing, and the pull request is ready. Well, it needs a little bit of work, code styling things, but other than that, it's ready. We also want to rebrand the administration theme, and right now we have a designer working on this, but there hasn't been a whole lot of progress recently. I think Jen's going to contact the designer to see if she's still working on it. Otherwise, we might need to reallocate rebranding the administration theme to someone else, I think, to keep it moving forward. Let's see. We've got a number of areas that we're looking to improve the user experience. One of them is we really need to get a rich text editor in core, which will probably be CK editor. Right now, this is in our minor categories just because we really want to hit our three major initiatives, views, CMI, and blocks and layouts. But probably the number one thing outside of those three would be backporting the CK editor functionality that we actually helped with in Drupal 8, but we need to get that back into Backdrop. And so that's a high priority, but less so than the major initiatives. Let's see, and we're also doing some terminology updates just to clean up the structure and the way that things are referenced in Backdrop. Issue 127 is a meta of all of the terminology changes that we're looking at doing. Some of them we've already done because we needed to make like the administration menu. Drupal wasn't actually designed to have drop-down administration menus, but with Backdrop we have admin menu and core, so we retitled things to make it make more sense, keeping in mind that the primary way of navigating is going to be either admin menu or searching the admin menu rather than clicking in through subpages. So let's see, and we've also got one last thing, theme system cleanup. In Drupal 8 they're converting everything to Twig, but what we're doing in Backdrop is we're cleaning up the theme system by consolidating templates and theme functions, but we're not actually converting it to Twig. We're basically doing the cleanup portion, but not the conversion portion. And Jen's been plugging away on that. Issue 125, you can get the full information on that. So we have a section in the agenda every week to do updates from the PMC. If there were any conflicts or any things that needed escalation and resolution, then we would talk about them here, but we don't have anything to talk about, so we'll just keep moving on to the next section. We've got a bunch of peripheral sections or peripheral work that needs to happen around the project that isn't the software itself. And most of those things include like websites and web services around the software. We've had a lot of progress on this first item, which is the API website, api.backdropcms.org. Actually, if you go there, it's actually up and functioning at this point, which is exciting because that hasn't been there prior to this week. So Luke McCormick is doing a lot of great work on the API website, and we're going to be using it as a place for where all of our change records and all of our documentation on upgrading, basically all of the developer documents are all going to be consolidated into the API documentation, and it's nice that we've got that rolling forward now. Let's see. All right, next item. We need an update service for Backdrop. When you install Backdrop right now, it still connects to Drupal.org and immediately says that your software needs to be updated. And we need to make it so that it connects to backdropcms.org, probably via project module that keeps track of the update statuses of each module, so that Backdrop can notify people when they need to update the modules or the base system itself. Also related to that is our solution for handling contrib. We need to make an official GitHub service for Backdrop CMS that makes it so that when a contributed module is hosted on GitHub, they should be able to go to the settings for the project and toggle on the Backdrop CMS service that makes it so that that module gets registered with backdropcms.org as an official project. So all of the code and packaging all happens on GitHub, but the official listing and status checking of modules happens in a central location at backdropcms.org. So in order to do that, we need someone who's familiar with the GitHub APIs and probably Node.js, because it's the sort of favorite API of GitHub, to integrate with the webhooks and make it so that people can do that, so that we can get a contributed module repository up and functioning. Okay, the last thing is backdropcms.org, our primary website itself. It just needs some more love. It's looking really good, like in terms of its content and its structure, but at some point we're going to need to give it like an official redesign to make it actually, match the project branding and implement our logo and everything like that. Okay, let's see, sprints. Last thing is sprints. We sprint every Thursday, which is today. After the weekly meeting, we'll be in IRC and pound Backdrop, just doing, working away on Backdrop. I'll probably be reviewing pull requests that are coming in. And if anyone else needs a hand or anything like that, just give me a ping, quick sketch, and pound Backdrop in IRC. We're also going to be at Twin Cities Drupal Camp, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So if you guys are in Minneapolis, any of our viewers, and you want to come and hang out or work on Backdrop, we're going to be there. Are we doing a sprint, Jen? Are we going to be at the sprint, maybe? Okay. So I don't think your microphone's working, but I think you said yes.
I didn't hear what you asked.
Oh, are we sprinting at Twin Cities Drupal Camp?
Yeah, it'll be as part of their normal sprint, wherever that happens on Sunday after the camp. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we'll be at Twin Cities Drupal Camp. We'll be at the Code Sprint. If you want to work on Backdrop or get bootstrapped on the project, we'd be happy to help you there. The only other camp that we've really got on the agenda is Bad Camp, which is in November. I'm sure there'll be more camps between now and then, but for now, that's what's on the schedule. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Publicity. There's a list of upcoming camps also happening. Drupal Camp Costa Rica is, it's right now. It's this week. Well, I'm not sure. We're obviously not there, but I think we might have people there, maybe, spreading the word about Backdrop. Twin Cities Drupal Camp, of course, is next weekend, and DrupalCon Amsterdam is at the end of September. Oh, Jen also wants me to mention that this is, I guess it has to do with publicity, but it also has to do with branding. We've been on the hunt for a mascot for the project. We've got our logo, which of course is this right here. And we also want a mascot so that people have something to play with, put on t-shirts, and something that has a less stringent trademark policy around it. And so Jen's super excited about this. I'm still kind of on the fence, but so far like 25 out of 25 Drupalers have all agreed that it's a good one. And what we'd like to do is have basically a small dragon, a lap dragon, or a dragon you could have on your lap as the mascot. And the dragon's name, in fitting with the project, would be called Drop. So Dragon Drop, if you get what I mean. So we're looking. We're currently reaching out. Yeah, we're currently reaching out to illustrators right now to take some plays on the ideas. We're not really sure if it's going to be like highly geometric, like the logo. We want to potentially do something with fractals, or if we want to make it something like more playful, like a ragdoll or something like that. We don't really know yet. So we're out and reaching around, trying to put out feelers for developing a mascot for the project, something that's a little bit more playful than our logo itself. So why don't we just end with that? That's all we've got. I don't think, let's see, we got a lot of feedback in the chat here, but I don't think we have any questions. If we do, speak now. Okay. Well, that's it for the meeting. Let's call it a wrap. Thanks everybody for joining, and thanks everyone for watching, and we'll talk next week on Thursday. Bye guys.